Welcome everybody to CCL Gameday, only on Striker Central. We are so excited for week 1 of the Collegiate Core Strike League kicking off today. I am Surplus, joined by Kbot, Vaughn, Goomy, and threezy breezy. Fellas, how are y'all doing tonight?
Great. I'm doing great.
Not all at once.
I don't know
Not
about everyone
everybody
else.
all at
I'm
once.
doing great. Yeah, I'm doing great. How about you, Kbot?
I am hanging in there. It's going. It's the start of the week here. But looking forward to getting to the latter stages of the week. I'm just looking forward to the weekend already. Who am I kidding?
You
Threezy,
and
how
me
about
both.
you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm really looking forward to our match.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Goomy, how are you doing?
Feeling a little sleepy, but excited for the wonderful Collegiate Omega Strikers League. Just finished like a
Hey.
4-hour tournament, but I'm chilling now.
There you go.
Yeah, that guy just graduated Hutton City High, so props to that
Hey,
guy.
congratulations.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're going to be accepted into one of these universities, I'm pretty sure, here in the near future as an Otten City High grad. Let's talk a bit about the CCL before we get into the nitty gritty of the show. 55 teams, over 45 colleges participating. This is the biggest collegiate Omega Strikers League since the beta tournaments started. Guys, are you excited? How excited are you for this tournament? I know we've got a few biases here in the call as of right now. What are your thoughts so far? How are your teams going to do? Let's start with Kbot.
How's my team going
Yes.
to do? Probably about as good as any predictions that I'm going to give tonight. But what I will say is that I'm looking forward to just being in the collegiate ecosystem at all for this game. I am a firm, strong believer in collegiate esports, so I'm excited to see a little league come together for OS.
Absolutely. And threezy, your starter for UCLA. That's a big time school out there in LA. How are you feeling about this season?
I'm pretty hyped. It's going to be the first time that UCLA is going to get to compete on central servers. So fair ping, 50 to 60 ping is going to be good. I'm going to be able to really show off what we've been working towards. Me and Grimella or Josh have been playing this game since Alpha. So we're really excited to show off what we can do.
Absolutely. And I'm not playing, but I am coaching the Texas Tech Red Raiders of Tech Esports. And our team's very new, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Vaughn, Goomy, what are your guys' thoughts on the league so far?
I am looking forward to it from a spectator perspective. Obviously, I'm not playing, but I think a lot of times in the OS competitive scene, there's a clear hierarchy, and sometimes watching the tournaments, you're not guaranteed close matches or exciting matches. But I think the interesting part about collegiate is a lot of players are not as popular, or like they don't come out, I shouldn't say popular, but more known in the community's eye. So it's always cool to have these storylines come out for, I don't know, maybe a floofy Poro from Emerson is just God's gift to the game, and you see him like blossom throughout his matches, right? So I just really like the aspect of collegiate because I don't really know what's going to happen, and that's sometimes more exciting than watching tournaments that have been taking place in the more like higher end like pro competitive scene. So that's what I'm looking forward to for sure.
Absolutely. I got to say, the beauty of collegiate, it's any given Wednesday or whenever the matches happen, of course. But any given Wednesday, one team could absolutely run over another team that is favored. And that's just the beauty of collegiate and of this beautiful game as well. Goomy, what are your thoughts so far on the CCL?
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch as a spectator because back in beta, watching the humongous collegiate tournament, it was super hype. Sitting in threezy's chat, watching Balix go crazy, and seeing all those lesser known newer players pick up the game and get coaching from other like top players. And I'm just excited to see the best that Omega Strikers has to offer.
Absolutely. Same here. And I know that we've got some biases here on the desk. Let's talk about what teams we're excited about this season. Other than our own colleges and universities, I think we're all very excited about Illinois State, Texas Tech, and UCLA. What other colleges are you guys looking at as of right now to potentially be in the playoffs picture or get their title in game and cement themselves in collegiate Omega Strikers history?
So I think it would be good also to maybe go through a brief refresher of what the playoff scene will look like at the end of the season. I know there's so many people in collegiate that maybe never competed in OS or it might be their first time. So
That's
Dylan,
true.
how about you walk both us and then the teams and players that are listening, what playoffs will look like, and we can get into some of our maybe sleeper picks or other teams.
Absolutely. I believe it'll be a 16-team double elimination bracket, single elimination bracket. Actually, we've got Coin in the call right now. If Coin, can you unmute real quick? That'd be really neat to hear your perspective on all the playoffs as well here and the design that we have built here. I'm putting you on the spot here, Coin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you really. Yeah, I'm here. Hello. I think we really wanted to build the league to be as expandable as possible. We weren't really sure how many people we were going to get. So we wanted to make a format that would sort of suit however large it got. We got more than we expected, not wanted. So we are currently adapting everything to fit that number. I think shooting for 8 weeks was really good, so we're going to have 8 weeks of Swiss, 1 match a week, so everyone has plenty of time to get their matches in. You know, we're in college, busy life going on. And then I think it's either 16 or 32. I think it'll be decided not at time of recording, but after.
Yes.
So whatever that number is, it'll be that stage playoff bracket. Obviously, SLU is going to get second.
Hey, yeah, that's true.
We are forever
Oh, the
cursed to get
predictions.
second.
Hold on.
Jumping ahead.
I'm
We're
jumping ahead.
a little ahead, but we'll get into the predictions as soon as possible. We got some few players out here in the call as well. Thank you so much, Coin, for calling in as well. But yes, the playoffs picture has not been determined as of recording this episode tonight, but we will have that information as soon as possible. We're looking, I believe, at a 16-team bracket. And, I mean, there's a lot of varying skill sets throughout all of these schools and all of these rosters. Quite a few Chally teams, quite a few Omega teams, a few members in Pro League as well. And you can't cut out, of course, the Diamonds and Platinums. They could potentially make a fun run into the tournament. But yeah, Vaughn, who are your sleeper picks for the playoffs?
All right. I've got a sleeper pick. I don't have them in my initial top 10 power rankings going into the season, but I think this team has the most upside, and that team is UH Premier, which are highlighted by Hoishi, who is a name that will inspire many older people in the scene. Someone who I haven't run into very much in solo queue or in the tournament ladder, but was known for when he actively played the game as arguably the best Juno player to ever do it on the character. And I is currently in the North American Strikers Academy, which is the tier 2 league below the North American Strikers like pro league. So I is definitely an established player right now in the competitive scene, and I'm curious to see how those two will combine to lead their school. They have a newer player as their third, Riles X, I want to say,
Riles,
or
yeah.
Schmo if we're talking about their bench. So it'll be interesting to see if two veterans can help their third develop as an appropriate third party, kind of like the Chris Bosh to the Wade and LeBron, if you will.
Oh yeah.
So I think that is my pick. I'm going to steal that one. I'm glad I got to go first.
There you go.
UH Premier is my sleeper pick. I think as the season goes on, they'll improve, and I will expect to see them in playoffs. So that is my selection for that question.
Absolutely. I do have to add as well, Riles, Schmo, and Remco all made it second place at DreamHack at the Battle for Texas. So this school does have a pretty good ceiling, especially with Hoishi and I not being in that picture. They could create some damage, especially in the central region. Kbot, who is your sleeper team to go into playoffs?
Similar to Vaughn, I'm going to take a team that's probably going to need a little bit of coaching. I'll take my sleeper pick here is the Keene Cougars. And you might be like, why are you picking this team as your sleeper pick? That's because Leo Leon is on this team with two players who don't look like they have quite the same level of experience as Leo. If they can find ways to feed him the rock, of course, the core is going to go in no matter what. There are hardly very many goalies that'll oppose Leo in terms of actually his ability to score. But whether or not Leo is going to be able to coach his two teammates up to snuff to squeak into that 16-team bracket and make a deep run at the end of the season, we'll have to wait and see. Probably is going to take more than 1 week, but I'll be watching their development as we continue.
Amazing stuff there. Goomy, who do you think will sneak into the playoffs at the end of the season in November?
A team that I don't really have in my top 10, but I am a bit curious on what they'll accomplish this season is St. Clair Saints Academy
Mm.
because they DM'd about 500 different Omega Strikers players to come to their school and play for them, and they got a ragtag team of gamers, and I'm curious to see how that will pan out.
Absolutely. St. Clair Saints Academy, one of the teams that a lot of people have a lot of hype about and stock going into this season. threezy, as one of the members of the top teams in CCL, at least as of right now, what are your thoughts on your sleeper picks coming into November's playoffs?
Yeah, I think a team to look out for sure is PSU Blue. That's going to be Surf Flops and Spencer, along with Frying Pan Man. We'll see if those two kind of veteran Omega Strikers players can coach up their third teammate, who doesn't seem to be bad. I've taken a look at their core strike. They seem to be a decent player, so that's definitely a team to look out for.
Absolutely. I would say my sleeper pick is the UAB Blazers. They've got a pretty high ceiling here. 2 Challies and 1 Plat on the team. Tomo Taco and Aromatic Minty as your challenger players. Kyle as your Plat player. And I think that's the beauty about a lot of these teams. You got a lot of these really big players, especially when you're talking about Keen. You've got Leo Leon at the top right there, and then the other 2, you don't really know how they can factor in. So with a little bit of coaching as the season goes on, I think UAB is going to sneak in as potentially a 15 or 16 seed, but we'll see how that goes. As we move off of the playoffs, let's talk about our preseason rankings. This is recorded right before game day. So I will start off here really quick with my top 10 as of recording this at the moment. I've got number 1 as Lakeland, number 2 as SLU. These 2 teams at number 1 and number 2 are probably the most competitive teams in collegiate Omega Strikers. They've got the Midwest on lock, and it's an absolute insane rivalry. I would compare it to, I know Kbot here is in the call, Ohio State versus Michigan. That is the game, I would
Watch
say,
what you say
in there.
sir.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, Exogen, my bad.
You refer to that as Ohio, and you're on the other team.
I said Ohio State. Okay, I did stutter,
You
but it's
corrected
okay.
yourself. You were close.
I corrected myself.
You were
It's
close.
okay. I'm not talking about the Bobcats. I'm talking about the Buckeyes here, all right? Who runs the state, right? OSU.
That's right.
The Ohio State University, of course. I mean, I'm a little scared of Kbot, so I'm not going to disappoint him here. I'll say number...
You better not.
My number 3 here is UCLA. I mean, threezy is in the call, and I don't need to butter him up anymore. But, I mean, you got threezy, you got Gramella on that squad. It's going to be a very interesting combination there, of course, as well as I believe their goalie as well, Balex and Water Fury, those 2 players as well, looking like they, with a little bit of coaching, they'll be able to come up to the same levels as threezy and Gramella, and they're going to be taking the West by storm. UTD is my number 4, your DreamHack champions. I mean, I know Snake is not there just yet. He's coming in the winter semester, but your UTD Comets are looking a little scary, and I mean, I don't think a whole lot of folks will agree with me about Central, but Central is a very competitive region. Texas itself is a very competitive region. It's very, very competitive, and Blue Blazing will be leading a team with Amarats and Windowed, with Cloak Oak in the wings there, also leading their secondary team, the Meteorites. We didn't get to see Amarats play at DreamHack, so I'm a little excited to see how that works out in the long run in this season. So they're my solid number 4. My number 5 here is Wake Forest. You've got Jumper, Apalmi, and me Oni. I believe it's ME10NE. I'll ask them how they pronounce their name, of course, here in the laters of the season. But I mean, you got Apalmi and Jumper both in Challenger. This team has a high ceiling, and as long as Swiss goes their way, the world is their oyster, of course, here. Moving down into the bottom 5, I've got Alberta in here, one of the only Canadian teams I have on my rankings. They are a challenger team, and they mean business here. Light Sky, Zenith, Kether, Coin Flip, and Entry Denial Device. All of those players are pretty solid looking up into their standings here. Light Sky, a Challengers player. Zenith, a Pro League player. And they are actually, fun fact, the most remote CCL college, the closest one. The closest college to them is Colorado Boulder at a staggering 21-hour drive. So, I mean, the most remote team ranks in at number 6 here. Number 7, NJIT. These guys got placed up against SLU in Week 1 Swiss. And Miri Meg's team is not looking to take no for an answer here. I believe they are a really, really good team. A little underlooked by some of the community, but, you know, they're still a really, really good squad regardless. You've got George Mason rounding out at number 8, Rutgers Black at number 9, and St. Clair Saints Academy at number 10. The bottom of these rankings are basically, okay, which Challengers teams do I think are a little weaker? George Mason and Rutgers Black, while still the Challengers level teams. I don't know. I need some more convincing here. And then St. Clair Saints Academy, as they are only a diamond team, they are one of the only scholarship teams in Omega Strikers here. And I'm excited to see how they rumble out. That's why they are in my number 10. Let's go over to Kbot here. Kbot, what are your thoughts? What is your top 10 in this preseason?
I will not go through it all because you covered a lot of the same teams, but I do have SLU over Lakeland due to, I believe, SLU having more recent wins over Lakeland in tournament settings. So take that for what you will. I'm an NJIT believer. I don't think Ciro's going to need a lot more coaching, and as soon as Miribeg and Ciro can both get that third up, I think they might surprise some folks. I'm hoping that, you know, that's going to be my one pick that comes forward. I also have UAB Blazers up there for similar reasons. Tomotako and Aromatic Minty. I tended to heavily favor the more proven competitive players in general, right? So these players that over the course of the past couple of weeks have been really consistently entering tournaments. They've made league appearances, whether it be in the North American Strikers League or in the North American Strikers Academy, and going on down from there. Also, the reason why I'm favoring PSU Blue. I know that was a team mentioned earlier that I've got a little higher up. I think Spencer, incredibly good, probably underrated in terms of that goalie position. It is going to be able to hold it down versus a lot of the other forwards in this league. Wake Forest, UTD, George Mason, rounding things out. I am a UTD doubter right now. You all can flame me for that choice later. But I am a doubter for right now. I don't think they have the roster they really want. I don't think a lot of their players are super committed in terms of actually playing together competitively, and they don't have a lot of recent competitive tournament results, which is why at the beginning of the season I'm ranking them lower. Also, teams I missed in the standings over here include Rutgers Black and what was the other team I was looking at a moment ago? St. Clair was just out of this top 10. U Alberta was the other team that I missed that I just didn't see on the whole scale of the 56 teams that we've got going here. So excited to see whatever happens, but that's who I've got so far. And of course, like I said, my picks are probably going to do about as well as my team. So let's send it over to someone who might know what he's talking about. Vaughn, who do you have?
Thanks, Kbot. My list is going to look a lot similar to everyone else's, but I'm going to have a plot twist. I'm going to swap two teams on here, and I'll get to that in a second, but I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting than just a standard 10, and it's not because I made a mistake sending the list. So, that being said,
Oh, no.
I have SLU at number 1. That stays as is. I think it's essentially going into this season, it's a toss-up of whether SLU or Lakeland you have on your personal bias list. For most people, you can just flip a coin. Their most recent matchup, they split games where, if I recall, Lakeland had the advantage in the winner's side, and SLU managed to bring back their losers and take the majority of the games in grand finals to the loser side. These teams seem pretty evenly matched. Lakeland is currently competing in the North American Striker Academy, which I think is good practice for them, but they don't seem to be performing super well in that capacity. That doesn't reflect on their ability to win in collegiate. It's just something that I want to take note of. They're captained by their star player Soren, and on the flip side, SLU, the team I have at the number 1 spot, matches up with Soren is their goalie Zoro. Those two I take as most definitely the best two goalies that are in collegiate. I think they're both really good players. I love Zoro, so I got to put Zoro at number 1 for his team. I think Soren is probably the top dog of goalie going into the season, so SLU's going to have to look to dethrone them, and also Lakeland won the land matchup, so they have that going for them. Third, I have UCLA. You have the 2-4 duo from the NASL, Team Soon to Be Strikers. but I have to see what their third goalie position is going to be able to bring to the table if I want to rank them any higher. And for that, I have UT Dallas. They won the Texas land, but there wasn't that much competition there, so I don't take too much stock in that in terms of how well they can succeed in collegiate. But they have someone who they did not have in the beta, which is Windoge, who is a rising star in the OS community, especially in the competitive scene. I think he's their strongest player. He's burst out of the gate running, especially with his signature Luna pick, where he's arguably probably one of the best Lunas.
Take that, Blue. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well,
Blue is
I
listening
mean,
right
hey, he's a pro league Luna player. He's got some other midfielders in his pocket. He's got a nice roster. He's also played goalie, which I think is important for midfielder skill to have. Like the ability to help your goalie with clears is really subtle art, and it's important. Then after that, originally I have Wake Forest 5 and 6, but I
I
actually
can swap
like to
those for you right
that.
now. Yeah, I can swap those
That'd
for
be
you right
awesome.
now. I got you.
I'll
I
talk
got
a little
you.
bit about U Alberta because I think they're actually the most underrated team probably in anyone's top 10. I remember watching the collegiate championships back in beta. Obviously, the game's changed a lot, but people don't remember U Alberta made it all the way to winners finals.
That was a crazy run.
Yes.
When it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, they had. Yeah, see, someone remembers it. It was.
I remember it now.
Yeah,
I
they
forgot
beat
it a moment
strong
ago.
teams. They beat Stout. I think University of Wisconsin
Yeah.
Stout, or they beat Spencer, USC, like those guys. They only lost to Waterloo, the champions at the time, but the roster since then is just an explicit upgrade. You have Zenith, who is one of the best players to ever play OS from the West Coast, and he competed in the NASL Season 1. And they have X Kether, and then I think they have an upgrade in their third in Light Sky, who's a newer to the scene, currently challenger player. I think these guys have a lot of potential. They only lost to Waterloo, which was a team that was so unbalanced. Everyone knew they were winning, and they would lose to Lakeland, the team that everyone has at first or second. So I think U Alberta Koalas is a seriously underrated team that will be contending for the championship. Wake Forest is Jumper, Apalmi, and me Melon or Me 10 or however you want to pronounce it. That team has already participated in the beta collegiate thing as 3, so they have the synergy built in already. And it's important to note, like, there is a value in if you're a West team getting to play on Central now, you'll only play better than when you did in beta. So I want to make sure I mention that, as threezy already said earlier. Then rounding out the bottom half, I've got George Mason, Rutgers Black, UAB Blazers, and NJIT. Want to draw attention to George Mason Patriots. Those guys are better than I think they are. Like, I remember the first time I played them in a tournament, and I went, "Wow, these guys are way better than I thought." I think they work hard, and they're a kind of a sum of the parts team. I like them a lot. Rutgers Esports Black, I have on this list solely because Jeffrey's on the team, and I love Jeffrey. If you've played solo queue in this game and you have Jeffrey on your team, you know exactly what kind of player he is.
Oh yeah.
I think he's I think he's a beast, and for the first time ever, I think Kai as a forward pick as opposed to a goalie pick is actually kind of good, which is huge. Like, the timing is insane because he's known as like the Kai guy. Or one of the Kai guys from beta, and I think he's hysterical. 9, I have Blazers because they have aromatic, like minty or whatever that guy's name is. He's a beast. He's next up. And they've got some members from NASA teams on there. And then I have NJIT rounding it out because Mirmeg is an NASL forward star. It's going to be up to his other 2 teammates who I'm not super familiar with to make sure that they are pulling their weight, but as long as Mirmeg has some support, I think this team is a playoff lock guaranteed, probably top 8 as well. So yeah, I think that summarizes my top 10 nicely, and look for the Koalas to make a surprising deep playoff run. And I'd like to hear now what Goomy thinks, because Goomy is the other spectator that isn't participating, so he's got the least bias here. So what do you think, Goomy?
So number 1, I'm in Team SLU. I love Zoro, I love Coin, I love Trademark. Those guys are the goats. and I think they've been getting second for a little too long.
Wait a minute.
Zoro,
I have to interrupt this for a moment. Please count the number of times Goomy says they are the goats in the next.
Let's count it.
Like,
I will
5
put that in the we'll
Can we
put
get
it
a
on the
counter
screen.
for that,
I'll put it
please?
on the screen.
Goomy,
I'll put that on
Just
the
say
screen.
they're the
with us.
Blizzards now, and it'll be at 0. It's perfect.
Anything
Yeah.
that sounds like it, I will put it on the screen. All right, good luck, Goomy.
yeah, Zoro, he's the Blizzard, and an important thing to note is that he's been coached from the best goalie in the world Vaughn, on numerous
Chills.
occasions.
Chills.
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 And in second, I got Lakeland, Soren, Itihan, Mouse, veterans. They've been playing the game for what 10 years now. They're approaching 11, I think, next month. Yeah, they've hit the core quite a few times in their life. Third place, UCLA. I'm not balanced. I'm good friend. I'm not biased. I'm pretty good friends with all of these guys. I think they can take it home with their new up and coming goalie that they're training up, and I think threezy and Gurmella can pretty much carry any goalie to the finish line. Let's not talk about what happened in the past collegiate events, but I think this is the one they'll get third. I think they got it this time. In fourth, I got UTD, Blue Blazing, Aimrats, and Windoge. I think they have the best goalie in the league with the Windoge. He's the Blizzard. Blue Blazing, Aimrats, very very solid players. In fifth place, I got Wake Forest with Apalmi, Malone, and Jumper. Apalmi is a really great brawler. He's an NASL. He's doing really good recently. I played Albion with him 30 minutes ago. He's really good at the game. And
Whoa, really? Really?
Really? I had no
Novel
clue.
concept given by the fact that he
Wow.
changed his IGN.
Gosh.
I love Albion. You already know it. And with a solid core Malone Jumper, I think that team has a ton of potential. In sixth place, I got Rutgers with Jeffrey, Sir Panda, and Rhea. I think Jeffrey, that guy is an absolute menace on the solo queue ladder. And as Vaughn said before, with Kai Ford being one of the better picks right now, I think Jeffrey can score some goals while Sir Panda, the one of the first Atlas one tricks, can hold it down in net. He's the Drew Danger of beta.
The Drew Danger of beta. Wow.
Oh yeah.
What a title,
Is
honestly.
he going to be the Drew Danger of collegiate?
Oh yeah. He's the Drew Danger of collegiate. That's his title from now on.
There you go.
There we go.
And then in seventh place, I got Alberta with Zenith, the ex Catherine Lights guy. Very very high elo players. Most of them I think are Challenger plus, and I think altogether they can even get higher on this list. But I put them a little bit further down because I haven't seen many of them on the solo queue ladder recently. Zenith, he's one of the more decorated West Coast players. That guy was extremely good in beta, and he even played in NASL Season 1. And I think this team can do really good. But I put them at 7th because they have not been playing recently. In 8th, I got George Mason Patriots, Vega Spartan, and Wiggly Wobbly. I've played against these guys. They've played with Leo Leon. He's trained them up a bit. And I think this team is very underrated, and I think possibly they can even stretch into the top 5 because these players have a lot of room to grow. And they have, honestly, decent tournament results compared to a lot of the other players on this list. In 9th place, I got NJIT with Mirrormeg and Friends. Mirrormeg is an NASL caliber player, one of the better brawlers in the league. And I think with these solid players that he has with him, he can take it home and even reach higher and get some upsets on some of the top teams in the league. That's what I love about collegiate. Like, pretty much any team on this top 10 list can beat any of the other teams. So it's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And in last place, I got UH Premier. Hoishi Riles. Has been playing a lot recently in tournaments. He's an NASA. I played against him earlier in a tournament, and he was cooking on the era. I think this team with Hoishi holding it down, making the swap to goalie is going to be very interesting. So we're going to have to take some time watching to see what Hoishi can do in the goalie position. Maybe he'll whip out the Juno goalie. Maybe Cakes will give him some coaching. We'll have to see on that. But yeah, I think overall UH Premier can do very good this season.
All righty, Goomy, thank you so much. And let's wrap up the top 10 here with threezy. And oh, come on, man. Really? Really? You don't have to be this biased. I didn't put Texas Tech on my number 1.
Threezy,
didn't
stay
play.
true to yourself.
Stay true
to
to
yourself.
No,
I'll drown off the haters.
nah,
UCLA,
nah.
baby.
Oh, my God. Anyway, threezy, put on those shades a la Deion Sanders. Tell us why UCLA is number 1.
Hey, it's Central Servers. It's prime time. It's my time. It's time to
not
show what I
Tuesday.
can do.
It's Wednesday.
Hey, it's late night lobster every night. It's a feast, okay? Pardon my English. It's a feast, all right?
Whoa.
I'm going to be feasting and beasting on that Core Strike Arena, and I've got my right-hand man and my Glizzard-in-Chief Grimella next to me, okay? And we've got these goalies. We've got Balix and we've got Water Fury. We're training them up. We're ready to go. We're ready to take first in the first season of Collegiate Core Strike League, okay? That's all there is to it, right? Go Bruins.
Boo.
Second, hey, it's my turn, young man. Number 2, we have SLU Strikers. Okay, these guys are the Glizzards. They even have their own custom skins in game that they have modded. Pretty cool. That's not to say that they just aren't great players in general. Obviously, the drip factor enters in there, of course. But yeah, these guys, like you guys have said before, played against Lakeland. That is a very big rivalry. So you do have those two teams kind of fighting for that position there. Lakeland as well, really, really great team. Like Goomy said, they've been playing the game the longest out of any team. So you've got Soren, obviously probably one of the best goalies in this tournament, in this league. Then you've got obviously E.T. Han and Mouse up there in the forward positions and midfield. Just really solid duo. At fourth, I have George Mason. I've seen these guys a lot. I've seen them improve. I've played against them. They're really solid players. Wiggly Wobbly, Vega, Spartan holding it down. Just a really solid roster. So I have them number 4, a bit higher than my peers, but I think they can really achieve good things this season. So at 5, I have UTD. Obviously, just a super high-powered roster, especially with the addition of Windoge, who's just a pretty all-around beast. Seen him in solo queue, definitely a great player. At 6, I have Wake Forest with some seasoned veterans. They have Jumper and Apalmi or I Love Albion, super great player. Played against him in NASL and in season 1, season 2, just a phenomenal player. Really respect him a lot. NJIT, they have Mirimag, again, another NASL player. Super good player. Seen them improve a lot. Interesting to see what their two teammates will be able to do. I think they are generally like pretty high elo, and they've played the game. Honestly, they look on paper, they look like they could be a good team. But we'll see how they do. And then at 8, I have U Alberta. Great team, right? You have Zenith, I believe. Yeah, you have Zenith in the midfield, who's just a phenomenal player. Played against him in NASL Season 1. Just absolutely phenomenal. And then Xkether and Light Sky, nothing to scoff at there as well. Really solid players, been around since beta. So a lot of veterans on that roster. And then you have at 9, Rutgers Esports. Of course, can't forget Jeffrey. If you know, you know. Just a solid roster overall. Interesting to see what they'll do this season. And then at 10, I have Longhorn Gaming. All I have to say is Mr. Goatbo. Okay, Mr. Flambeau, looking to take this roster to the dreamland. All right, he's going to do it. So Longhorn Gaming at 10.
Alrighty, well, thank you, threezy. As much as I'd like to see more Texas teams in the top 10, sorry, man. Sorry. My bad. All right. But anyway, very awesome rankings. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, y'all, for putting in that work. I mean, it means a ton. And let's get right into the meat of the show. We are only a few minutes away from the first game kicking off here. And let's start off really quick with a few teams that are not playing on stream. Let's start off first off, UH versus Ole Miss. Houston Premier versus Ole Miss. Who do you think's got that one, Kbot?
This has got to be UH. Sorry, Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is a team to watch out for. They might be able to squeak into playoffs as well, especially given by the fact that they've played together in other tournaments leading into this as well. But it's got to be UH with the star power we've talked about so far tonight.
Absolutely fun. What's your thoughts?
Yep, I think Kbot covered it pretty well. We mentioned UH a couple times on the broadcast. I think they're going to take it. I think Ole Miss might need a little bit more time in the league to be able to upset this team, but maybe in the future down the line they meet in playoffs and it could go differently. I go with UH too.
Goomy.
I'm going to go with UH. These players are very good, one of the better teams in the league, and I think Ole Miss is going to need some growth before they can even have a chance at beating this team.
Alrighty, threezy.
Yeah, I'm going to round it out with another UH. Not really surprising. Just a great team. Played against these players before. I know what they can do. Great team.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to echo that too. Let's go UH. The Cougars. Coug Esports going to be doing some damage out here. Let's go up. Stay in the state of Texas. It's a North versus South matchup. Texas State versus St. Clair Saints Academy. Kbot, who you got?
think the St. Clair project is going to work early. We'll see if it's able to maintain some level of consistency throughout the season. Give me St. Clair here.
Vaughn.
Also, St. Clair believer. I really like the fact that the school put some effort into forming the team. I don't know how they'll fare throughout the whole season, but definitely earlier on, I'm going to give them an advantage versus a lot of teams, and Texas State is definitely one of those teams.
Absolutely. Goomy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with St. Clair as well. They put a lot of effort into their Omega Strikers program, and I think they might have hired some high caliber coaches, maybe even flew in some imports from Europe to coach them. So I think this team's gonna take it home.
threezy.
Flying in coaches for OS.
Flying in coaches is nuts.
For collegiate
Flying
OS.
coaches is nuts.
Hey, no price is too great to pay to win collegiate Omega Strikers. All
That
right.
is
Yeah,
true.
the price of the bandwidth piping underneath the ocean, probably. Yeah.
There you go.
Or
There you
whatever
go.
internet signals or however that works. I'm not some network
Below the
expert.
ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Is, what's
Probably.
the thing?
Under
The
That
Earth's
was a thing.
crust
It's through
actually
the Earth's
powers
crust.
my
thing.
There's
computer.
no ocean between
That
St.
was a
Clair and
thing.
Texas State, unless you count Texas State's river.
I was talking about flying in coaches, but you're not actually flying in coaches for Omega Strikers. You're not paying a plane ticket.
Whoa.
You don't
Gabe,
know
You're
that.
paying your internet bills.
Calm down.
You don't know
Calm
that.
down, young man. Calm down.
Anyway. My bestie, my Westie bestie, threezy. Who do you think takes this one?
Yeah, I think it's going to be St. Clair. I do want to say that Texas State does have some players that I recognize. They do have some decent players. I do think St. Clair, it's kind of like not too big to fail because it's Omega Strikers. They've got these guys. They've signed them, right? They're decent players. I've seen them play. Storm TFT, a season 1 NASL competitor. Shiro Asu, obviously a decent player. So St. Clair probably will take this one.
Absolutely. I've got to agree with you. As much as I love my friends at Texas State, Jacob, Boopy Doopy, I see y'all, as well as Arcane Chicken, of course. I got to go with St. Clair Academy here. The Strikers, the Strikers out there in Canada. I mean, it's one of the few varsity programs out here in Omega Strikers. So you got to support. You got to support anytime our folks are growing. And I think the experiment is going to work. I think they can figure this out, especially in week 1. Let's move on to one of the teams that I think a lot of us admins in the CCL are fans of, RWU versus Rutgers Esports Red. Kbot, who takes this one?
It's going to be Rutgers Red. There's probably not going to be much. But look, if you're RWU here, please do not get discouraged. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You do not need to come out of the gate swinging. Work yourselves up, and maybe you'll be able to pick up some wins as we get later on in the season.
Vaughn.
Hey, it's a marathon and a sprint, baby. RW gets the big W. That's
Let's
a
go.
capital
In
W
week
for
one.
RWU.
RWU.
Hey, show your yapping, young man. I'll point the right way. Shut up. RWU's winning, and I need someone to back me up on this right now. Goomy, RWU. Say it. Say it. Say it.
I got RWU.
Yeah!
Flipping Yoshi is the best. Wait, 1 second. He's the best Asher in the league.
Let's look at the Striker GG real quick. Okay, best Asher in the league is crazy. Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. What? Explain yourself, Goomy. Explain yourself here.
Well, with his whopping 20 games, boasting 75% win rate on the Asher.
Hey,
Statistically, he's the
Hey,
best.
statistically, he's the best.
Statistically,
That is
Best
true.
Asher
it's pretty
in the league.
That
good.
is true. That is true.
Yeah.
I got RWU. They're gonna take it home.
Let's go, Hawks.
threezy.
Yeah, let's go Hawks indeed. We've got Skytastic with a whopping 0 games of ranked overall. Hey, so that is A-okay. Listen, the Hawks are going to swoop in, not going to know what hit them. They're going to take the W.
So is this the
Go
part
Hawks.
where I'm just going to get shunned like I was on the Nassel desk the other week, where
Potentially.
everyone else picked? It's like, come on, Dylan, come on.
Look, I am a man
Come on.
of logic. I'm a man of faith. Rutgers Esports Red in every other universe, in the 99 million universes, wins this
Oh,
matchup.
yeah.
But I think in this reality,
Oh, yeah.
in today's day and age,
Oh,
in
yeah.
tonight's matchup, I
Guys,
think the Eagles
It's an
take it.
8-week season. It's an 8-week season.
RWU's
Hey.
taking it. Hey, RWU is one of the favorites out here. So, I mean, I think they're one of our favorite teams. I mean, you can't deny an underdog story, Kbot.
Yes.
I can't deny it in week 1. I think that's a pretty reasonable denial to deny them in week 1.
All right, all right. We'll cut back next week and see which ones we got wrong, of course. But another big time matchup. This team was on a lot of our rankings. Wake Forest taking on Heartland Community College, and Kbot, Heartland has a close spot to your heart, doesn't it?
Yeah, Heartland is about 2 miles away, like a 10-minute drive. I visited for a Smash Bros tournament there once. But I'm gonna have to go Wake Forest. I put Wake Forest into the top 10 here. I really want to see programs, especially locally, grow. Hey, maybe we'll even play against each other in person or something. Maybe we can figure out a way if that match ends up happening. That'd be really sweet. But I'm gonna have to go Wake Forest here in week 1.
Alrighty, Vaughn.
Okay, so before I talk about who I think is going to win, I have to shout out. There's a player on Heartland CC that I don't know if the solo queuers in the call know who I'm about to mention. Hippo Just, kind of a demon. Yeah, he's got a nasty Rasmus, which is definitely, I'd probably say like, I would say it's the fan favorite character to watch someone play well on. There's nothing more enjoyable than seeing a scintillating Rasmus combo outplay on the goalie. Outside of Amy's app, the character is super interesting, super high skill ceiling. Really enjoy that. He's got a great secondary. Hey, Kbot! I don't want to hear it from the RW doubter. Pipe down, mute that man. Mute him now.
I'm not muting him.
He has a great Drakkar secondary.
But go on, keep going.
Well, zip your lips, young man. It's Hippo Just's time. Now that I said that, though, he's gonna lose. It's Wake Forest.
All right.
It's Wake Forest. But I wanted to shout out Hippo just because I think we all skipped over this school. But I think actually they're going to be a playoff team. So even though they're taking the loss to RW now, check back in November. They could be a totally different story. So I got RW.
Yeah. Goomy, what are your thoughts?
I got Wake Forest in this matchup. I mean, Wake Forest is in my top 10. I don't think this one's going to be very close. Hippo just. Watch out for him, though. But for what Vaughn said about the best character to watch, I'm gonna have to go with Rune. Watching someone banish double pillar and take them out of the video game is the most skillful expression.
The hair, the goosebumps right now watching the Rune combos. Oh my god.
But yeah, Wake Forest is gonna take it home.
Absolutely. threezy, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have Wake Forest favored to win here, but I do want to reiterate. Have played against and I think with Hippo Just as well. Great player. I do see Praspian, I believe is how you say it, with a bit of an Amy win rate there. So that's a character that goalies, novice to amateur goalies, even high elo goalies tend to have a really hard time dealing with. So if that character escapes the ban phase, this team has a lot of upside.
Absolutely. I think this is one of the more underrated matchups of this week, and it's a shame that we weren't able to get it on broadcast. I think Wake Forest takes it, but by a sliver. I'm talking 3-2 up to the last round, up to the last goal, and I really don't think if Heartland loses this one, their season is not done. They definitely have a really good shot at the playoffs. Let's get right into what we came here for, our streamed matches at 6 p.m. Eastern. Auburn versus Bruton Parker College Blue, only on Striker Central. Kbot, what are your thoughts?
I hate to pick an SEC school, but I'm going to have to. Auburn's going to take this one here. Looking like they're going to be able to take this. Tiger Slasher, notable player here on the roster in Challenger for this team. Looking like probably going to be able to come through and pull it through for the Tigers.
Vaughn, what are your thoughts on the Tigers versus Bruton Parker College?
I agree with Kbot. I think that Auburn is kind of going to walk over this one, a pretty easy start to their season. I don't want to diminish the Bruton Park College Blue team, but I don't think their players have the experience yet to be able to compete with a lot of the Auburn players who've been playing the game for quite some time. I'm going to give it to Auburn.
Goomy.
I'm going to have to give it to Auburn as well. A lot of people might say, hey, look out for Tiger Slasher. But I got my eyes on the TTV Ram Splooge. If you tuned into any of his streams, that guy's a bit of a demon.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Auburn all the way.
threezy.
Yeah, you've got a bit of a dual threat there with Tiger Slasher and Ram Splooge, as Goomy just illustrated. I think that'll be a team to watch for sure. Got a lot of upside there. So definitely going to go with Auburn here.
I'm going to have to agree with the desk here. Auburn is the winner of our first matchup. In my eyes, I think BPC The blue team is going to be doing a lot better, though, coming into this coming season. And there's only one way but up. I mean, pretty much, right? If you're at BPC Blues level at the moment. And nothing against any of the teams here, but just Auburn takes it here. All right, I'm ready. I'm excited. It is my matchup versus Blue Blazing's B team at 7 p.m. EST or 6 p.m. Central. It's a regional matchup. Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, take on the UTD Meteorites. Guys, break my heart. Tell me what you guys are going to think here.
So, Dylan, I actually want to send the question back over to you first. You're the coach for this roster. You
Yes.
got any strategy heading into this one? What's the game plan here?
Game plan here is to play as hard and tight and fast as possible.
Yeah, never mind.
And,
Give it to
we're
UTD.
gonna
Give it to UTD.
no faith.
UTD
No
all
faith
the
at
way.
all. No faith at all.
No
Vaughn.
faith.
Vaughn.
Zero faith.
Dylan, I think you could be literally Coach Carter, and you would not be able to lead your
Wow.
squad to a win in this.
Oh, no.
I am sorry. I think
Oh,
UTD
no.
Meteorites are going to have to take it. They have a unique position where they get to practice against their sister team, which I think is pretty useful, actually, and they just look stronger on paper. I'm sorry, Texas Tech. You will not be winning this one.
Goomy. Give me something I want to hear, please.
So in Omega Strikers, I think coaching is very important, and I think coaching is probably the best position you can have, right? You have a good goalie, doesn't matter if you don't have a good coach. You got a good midfielder, does not matter.
True.
You need that coach position on lock. I'm gonna go with Texas Tech. They got Dylan,
Let's
motherfucking
go,
surplus.
baby. Let's go,
Oh,
baby.
no.
On the
Now,
coaching
Gooby, the
bench.
correct way to do
Ring the
that for
victory
content
bells.
was to set that all up and then completely derail that train by saying that he's not a good coach.
I
Okay.
thought you were actually going
That
to
was
say
the
that.
correct
I was
content
actually thinking you were
decision
going to
today.
say that, but you can't take it
Hey,
back.
Kbot, there's someone else here that
threezy.
maybe was going.
threezy
Okay,
might have been.
you know what?
Might have.
Hey, okay.
You broke his
No,
content.
good.
Hey, you know what?
Yes.
Hey, I've got something to say. Okay?
Yes.
Is that it's if you've seen it, you know what I'm gonna say. Hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. Windoge plays.
No, this is their
Luna.
B team. This is their B team. This is their
This is
B
their B
team.
team. This is their B
B
team.
team.
To be fair.
Yeah.
This is their B team.
Yeah. It's like
It's
a flat.
fine.
They're like flat
Cloak
average.
Oak,
Misfired,
I'm a
misfired,
Scoliosis, Galaro,
Misfired, misfired.
Synthric, Fecking
Okay,
Deck, and Anime Gamer 001.
Yes, I take it back. It's still going to be Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. Cloak Oak and I'm a Scoliosis. I've seen them both in my solo queue games. Both like decent, solid players. Can definitely outperform Texas Tech. Excuse me. I think this team with some good coaching can scale. I don't think they're going to win their week 1 matchup. We'll have to see if you can offer that to them, Dylan.
I'm hoping so, but as biased as I may be, let's get real really
My
quickly.
silver Dubu goalie coach.
Hey, Silver Dubu is essentially Pro League. That's what I've been told.
It's
at
the
least.
intangibles, okay?
Exactly.
Competitors would understand this game.
Look, you would understand this
Intangibles.
game.
My
All
bad.
right, all
My
right.
bad. Sorry. I coach for other games too.
Hey,
Anyway,
OS
let's get
is
real.
a whole nother animal, baby.
Let's get real.
OS
Let's get real.
is a
Brand
different
new.
breed.
Brand new.
Let me set
It's
the
actually
stage.
funny because if you know me from Splatoon, you know that I don't have a single tournament result to my name, and yet I end up being a coach for some teams. So
There you go. Hey,
I see
watching
it.
VOD can help
But not,
a lot.
not week 1. Not
The
week 1. Not so
self-report
fast.
Kbot
Hey,
just went
hey, can
crazy,
I talk?
by the
Can I
way.
talk?
That was insane.
No!
I was ready to
Well, you wanna
smash
talk
the
about your own
emergency
team,
meeting
Dylan?
button
Yes, I'm
and
gonna
you
talk
outed
about. I'm gonna get real.
yourself
I'm gonna get real here. I'm gonna
on
get real
your
here. All right,
own.
all right,
That
all
was
right.
insane.
All right,
Okay.
this matchup
Here, Dylan.
is a doozy. We are looking down the barrel of a gun, but let me set a stage for you. Let me paint a
Game.
pretty picture here for you, all right? November 1st, 2008, the number 1 ranked UT Longhorns march into Lubbock, Texas, into a sold-out Jones AT&T Stadium. The number 7 Texas Tech Red Raiders were staring down a barrel of a gun. A regional rival, somebody who we absolutely hate, is the number 1 team marching into Lubbock, Texas. Do you know who Lee Corso picked that day? Texas Tech. Do you know who made the final catch as time expired? Michael Crabtree pulled free, touchdown Red Raiders. I'm saying that I'm going for the underdog story. I've got to root for my boys. I got to root for Texas Tech. I'm taking down the flag. Here it is, baby. Let's go, Red Raiders. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, sir. I think we get the week 1 dub. I think we get it on lock, but that's enough of my emotions here. Let's talk about some emotional stuff for some folks in this call. A bitter rival and pretty much our number 2 team consensus on the board. at 8 p.m. Eastern, Lakeland versus Shenandoah. Two teams with LAN history. Kbot, what are your thoughts?
I imagine Lakeland's going to take this one. You cannot convince me that this team is not in form. While they might be struggling in the North American Strikers Academy, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be struggling in this league. I think they'll certainly have it in them. They've got this energy together. They've been playing well together, and they'll be able to take this one here. Shenandoah, of course, haven't seen a lot of their play like as a team, and that's probably the reason why I give the edge. I think Lakeland is probably going to be better than the sum of their parts.
Vaughn.
I think Shenandoah can win if they convince Soren to pick Kazan goalie. In any other situation, I've got Lakeland winning as
Mind
handily as
control.
possible.
Mind
Yeah,
control.
hey, mind control can always come through. Shenandoah, maybe they've got some magic they can work back there, but I remember pretty handily Lakeland coming to visit their exact school and walking all over that land, so it's going to be hard pressed for Shenandoah to pick up a W versus this collegiate powerhouse.
Goomy, what are your thoughts?
This is a very interesting matchup, right? They've had experience playing each other in past. They've stared each other down on the stage. Shenandoah versus Lakeland. I think a very important thing to watch out for in this matchup is the goalie matchup. Soren versus Master Hamster. I mean, they're neck and neck in skill level. I might give the edge to Master Hamster just a little bit, but overall, I'm gonna give it to Lakeland.
threezy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to come down to whether, like Gumi said, the goalie position, whether Soren's going to be able to hit the Soren angle or the new Soren angle. And that's really going to be the difference. Maybe some rune pick out of Shenandoah, ankles broken, minds controlled perhaps, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to give it to Lakeland.
Alrighty, I've got to agree with the desk here. Lakeland versus Shenandoah. It's going to be a very intriguing matchup, and it's a great appetizer for our main course later on in the next hour. But I'm going to have to give it to Shenandoah. No, sorry, not Shenandoah. My bad. Oh no. Content. Lakeland takes this one. They are cooking something out there in Wisconsin. I am very excited to see how these teams face up and match up. And it might be a close one, but I still think the Muskies take it here. And finally, our main matchup, the one everybody's been waiting for at 9 p.m. EST, NJIT versus the SLU Strikers. Kbot, who's taking this one?
So every one of us was saying that SLU probably going to be at the top of this thing, right? A lot of us picked SLU, maybe even over Lakeland, given some recent results and things of that sort. And it looks like they're probably going to be pretty good in the league. So I'm going to have to take NJIT. I believe they can pull off the week one upset. This is going to be my upset pick. I am still going to be a believer here for this NJIT squad. This is probably going to be the one that I ride until the end of the season, and then I'm just proven wrong at the end of the season. Or actually, not just at the end of the season, but every single step of the way. But I will be an NJIT fan. Let's go, Mary Meg. I believe in this roster. Give me that.
Vaughn, do you think that it's another NJIT pick or an SLU pick?
This broadcast wouldn't be complete without one final disagreement between Kbot and myself. I'm going to make sure I even coach SLU for free right now on stream.
Wow.
I want you to open Ant
Whoa.
I want you to open Ant C3519's core strike, and I want you to look very closely, and I want that to influence your pick band phase. That's all I'm going to say on that regards.
Whoa.
Zorro, you know what to do. Get the dub. 2-0. Easy money. Let's ship it up, Slew. Let's move on to week 2. I'll pass it off. That's all I need to say.
There you go. Vaughn takes SLU. We've got an even tie on the desk. Goomy, what are your thoughts?
Overall, I believe this matchup could go both ways. I have them both situated very comfortably in my top 10. Miri Meg, an NASL caliber player. He's got his backpack already a little stretched out from carrying Ocean of Core Flip in the NASL season. So I think he might have to do some carrying to win this matchup, but overall I'm gonna have to give it to SLU. They have Zoro, and that guy's a beast.
There you go. threezy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Slew is going to take this one. I mean, again, Zoro has been coached by Vaughn, who's in this call. Great goalie player. Zoro, great goalie. Definitely seen him improve. In solo queue, as a team, Slew just really great players. I mean, obviously this one might be close. We'll see how big of a gap that Remeg will be able to create, but I just don't think it's going to be large enough. So, yeah, I'm going to give this one to Slew.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree here. The Billikens of SLU, St. Louis University, going to take this one over NJIT, but it's going to be a very intriguing matchup. This is like a little appetizer of what we're going to get in the playoffs, basically. I mean, all of these teams, both these teams are in our top 10. Both these teams are going to be highly ranked, I'm pretty sure, throughout the season, unless something catastrophic happens. Coin was talking to me earlier before we started broadcasting, and Coin said, hey, we're almost always number 2. Rank us at number 2. Let's see what the public expects, right? And I think SLU has the drive to be able to get higher than number 2 this season. But I'm not going to jinx anything.
Dylan, is it about drive?
It is about drive.
Power?
It is about power. SLU stays hungry. The Billikens will devour. And that's my pick for the final marquee matchup here in CCL Week 1. Well, that has been an amazing, amazing show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. The CCL Gameday will be back next week for Week 2, so make sure to come on over early to twitch.tv/StrikerCentral. To see what the guys have to say, see what we have to say. And we're going to have some special guests as well next week. It's going to be a really fun one. It's going to be a great one as well. Make sure also send in your clips from this week to be featured on the show. We're going to have a special segment next week reviewing some of the best goals, best saves in a Week 1. You're not going to want to miss it here. Next up, we've got Auburn versus Bruton Parker Blue. Don't go anywhere. That match will start up any minute now. I'm Surplus for Kbot, Vaughn, Goomy, and Threezy Breezy. We'll see you on the other side. Have a good night and enjoy the match.
Bye.